freestyle much, but I write them like such.
Okay, we are back, and we are back with Miss Demetra K. And like I said in the last hour, she was killing it. Throwing out the facts, doing what she's got to do, telling it like it is. Of course, in typical woman fashion, not letting the brother have a rebuttal to anything that she said. So I learned a long time ago from my mama, sometimes you just got to listen and wait till they finish.
I was like, do you want to say something? He's like, no, I'll let you finish.
Okay, now.
Do you need me to rephrase the question?
Go ahead and read.
Because I know we left them on the cliffhanger. Yes. They waiting for you to come back with the banging answer, just the nail in the coffin.
Yes, go ahead.
All right.
You're killing it. Go ahead. Remember, Demetra K is the name.
That's right.
A-Y-E.
So I said, how can Tommy talk about black women not loving their children when he served jail time for not paying child support in 2009?
Okay. A man, according to the laws that these women have lobbied for, have made it, because if you look at it, here's my answer. You might not going to like the answer, but it's the truth answer. Our parents, in their generation, they can walk away from the responsibilities. So, which was wrong, no matter how you look at it. Now, they have taken and said, you know what? There are so many of these kids out here without the father. We're going to make them the father. We're going to make them responsible and financially, whatever it is. So that is the law. Mm-hmm. Now, if he wasn't living up to his financial responsibility to his children, I do not understand.
Wait, not if.
No. He wasn't living up to his responsibility. We don't know the whole situation with that. Because there's other reasons why you're put in jail in regards to your children.
One of the things it said not paying child support.
Yeah, the main thing is not paying child support, but there could be other circumstances as well.
Oh yeah, he does have another one where he was he went to jail for battery.
Yeah, that's another reason. I'm just saying. See, I'm trying to be fair all around.
Go ahead, brother. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Right. There's all kinds of reasons. Right. Now, in defense of the great Tommy Sotomayor, when you don't know better, you won't do better. But here's my thing. When I was saying about the law and back in the day, I don't know how these laws are made to where they don't make sense. Okay, you're going to lock him up for not paying child support, but how is that going to help the child by locking him up? Now, I'm just paraphrasing, or I'm just kind of giving the good side of this.
Okay.
Maybe by locking him up, he had an epiphany and said, I got to do what I got to do. And now he is doing what he's supposed to do, because jail is no place cool, even though these kids are walking into it. So that was about 10 years ago that happened. I don't know the circumstances all in regards to it. But whatever the circumstances that happened, he's come out of it better to financially support his children.
Okay. All right.
Which is true.
All right.
So that's my answer to that. But the laws in regards to how they do that, it's just like anything else with the health care bill. These laws are not fair when it comes to the father. Locking a man up, that's not going to help him pay his child support while he's locked up. And these women don't think about that. But then you got to look on the other side. And I'm not trying to change the subject, but if I come to you, D, and I say, hey, I am not ready to have a child. I'm not financially responsible to have a child. I don't want this child, but you make me a father anyway. You're going to go through some drama because I'm not in a position to financially deal with that child. We shouldn't have done what we did, but we did. Women are ending up pregnant. Boys aren't taking care of themselves. And it only becomes a problem to the black women when it's their son, their brother, their father that are going through some drama like that. So whatever he went through to be a better, like I said, I'm speculating. It probably woke him up. Because right now, he's balling out of control in what he's doing, and he's making money, and he has his daughters and has a relationship with his daughters, and he's doing a lot better. So I'm just saying that's not the route I would go. If you're financially responsible, I was financially responsible for my children. If that's the law, that's the law, but the laws need to be fair. That's all I'm saying in regards to it.
Let me get my tissue, because that was such an that defense was so not...
That was in that question.
That was not a damn tearjerker, but you know what? I'll tell you this much.
Okay,
tell me. I'm gonna give you an A for effort, because that was a very A for awesome.
Awesome. Okay.
A for audacious.
Well, I'm kind of glad because remember last week you had that teacher that didn't give you an A. Yes.
Right, I'm gonna give you an A. Okay.
It's rough out
there. They say A for effort, but okay.
It's rough out there.
All right. That was
okay. So what was wrong with my answer there?
All right. I sucked at biology. But when a man and a woman lays down together without protection, what happens?
Possibility of pregnancy.
Right.
Yes.
So a woman can't make a man a father unless he's participating. True. Now, even if there weren't any laws that says, I need you to pay your child support, shouldn't you just do it anyway?
If
you loved your black children.
If you are financially in a position to do it. There's a lot of people in our community.
You know what?
We are not in a financial position to do that. And I think that is wrong, which goes back to his situation. We don't know what his situation was at that time. I can go down the Riverside right now to the one part of Riverside and show you a slew of guys down at Family Support. You can sit there in court and watch these guys. They look almost homeless. They are not in a position to do. But then again, they shouldn't put themselves in a position to have babies. But why are these young women having babies when they're not in a position to take care of them?
The only reason, okay, listen. Tommy Sotomayor is the subject matter at hand because, honestly, I'm not a fan of him at all. I don't like him. I don't like how he treats black women. I mean, I just don't like anything that he says. It's very ignorant. It's very ignorant. But I mean, I'm
a subscriber.
We know, okay, but he's standing on a pedestal throwing rocks at other people, and he lives in a glass house. How in the world are you going to talk about black women don't love their children, but yet you didn't take yourself to jail. You was forced to go to jail because you didn't pay your child support for your black children. So now he's standing up here holier than thou, self-righteous, talking about black women, but and talking about black women being with, obviously he wasn't financially stable.
At the time, right.
So he's talking about black women getting with men who aren't financially stable, but if you went to jail for not paying your child support, that means you were financially unstable. So where does he get off throwing rocks at people for the same stuff he did, or maybe be still doing? Because let's not forget, this is the internet. On the internet, we can be whoever we want to be.
Okay, and that's a good point. Here's my answer to that. Look at it this way. He is giving us something to think about, and something to debate, because you might not agree with a lot of stuff that he says, but there are a few things in there that makes you think like, yeah, why are we, as a man, when I listen to him, I don't listen to him from a woman's perspective. I listen to him from a man's perspective.
Right.
So I can understand why a lot of women are upset. But then again, if a woman had a similar program to him, she could come out with the same narrative.
Okay, and this is how I want to tie it into loving the skin I'm in. And, because I really feel like, and I've watched his earlier videos, and then the one last night, or the one I sent you, and his stance is totally different. Before it was bitch hoes, fucking motherfucker bitch hoes, but this time he's, I just want to say, black women love their children. I'm like, come on, dude.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay. In his earlier videos, he was pointing out something that is epidemic that's going on right now.
An epidemic to who, though?
Well, within our community, you've got women out here that are at the clubs. They're getting all these tattoos. They're physically able to work. They don't want to work. You got grown women twerking. You've got grown women wearing.
Who are they twerking for?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Who are they at the club with?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Who are they getting the tattoo names of?
I don't know, and I don't
care. Why are they
on
Section 8?
I don't know, and I don't care.
I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because, most of the time they ain't twerking for no other women. They twerking for men.
Okay.
Most of the time they getting tattoos that says Ray Ray or Pookie.
Right, which is why we started this show, saying that you don't have to do stuff like that.
I agree.
To do that. Now, props to Tommy Sotomayor. If you like him or you hate him, people have heard of him, and there's some good things you can always take out of something. There's some bad things. Now, he was showing videos. I mean, to me, I don't like hair hats. Okay, I don't like women who wear hair hats.
Or weaves.
Yeah, I don't like weaves. And and that was a topic he brought out that I said, you know what? When you see women, young girls, robbing stores just to put hair that's not theirs into their head, that's craziness. And he was bringing that to the forefront. But anybody can take anything and throw it out there.
Right. Which he does, again, because there's a lot of black women who are doing awesome things, but he never Never.
Because that's somebody else's.
Right. And he says that. If you guys want to talk about that, go on your show. But on this show, I'm going to talk about black bitches and hair hats.
Exactly.
Right. So, my thing is, if we going to love the skin we're in, and to your point, you said that there's, black girls out there stealing weaves and stuff. My father always says, you can't teach what you don't know. So, they're probably learning that from their circle of influence, which is probably their mothers, their aunties, or whoever is doing this kind of thing. They're not teaching them, even if you're bald-headed, you are somebody without all this hair. And I don't have a dog in a fight about weave. I don't wear weave, so it's not my issue.
You sure? That don't mean, that can just be a ball on top of it. I don't know. Ow! Is that a weave?
Do you really want to go there?
Yeah,
okay. It's still on my head, ain't it? It's still attached to my scalp.
Yeah, I see you got the alopecia going. You might be pulling too hard.
I said stay away from the edge. Stay away from the edge.
You might be pulling too hard. So be careful.
Okay, so and I agree with you, and because I would be lying to say, black women are angels. All black women are angels. We got issues, just like other women have issues. Absolutely. But I was listening to Minister Louis Farrakhan today, and he basically says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual.
Right. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation.
Mm-hmm. Also, a nation can rise no higher than its woman.
Right.
And the man is supposed to protect the woman. So instead of you're right. Nobody can tell this man what to do. And we know why he's sitting up on this platform hating on black women, because it's popular.
Getting paid.
It's getting paid.
Jerry Springer does it.
Right.
Maury Povich does it.
Right, but we expect them to do it because that's what they've been doing. They being white people. Mm-hmm. The race card again.
Race card, deal it.
But our men, and we are the only, our men, I think me and you can agree on this, are the only race of men who drag their women through the mud. Like, if you have a problem with your woman or women, black women, educate her. Well, try to lead her. Don't try to tear her down.
Well, that's kind of hard to do. See, and we agree, but you got to look at the root of the problem. When the black woman wanted to join the Now movement, which had nothing to do with her, and then she tried to challenge the black man, and I'm going to use my own self as an example. I am not here looking for somebody to wear the pants in my family. Right. I'm the man. My role is the role. Mm-hmm. I don't need a woman that's trying to challenge. If you want to go out there and make $1 million, you go out and make $1 million, sweetheart. But when you come home, you are still the man. And that's one of the problems in the black community, where these women have bought in, and Tommy Sotomayor talks about this, they bought in to the, girl, you could have it all. You could do that. What's that movie that just came out? Girls Trip?
Girls Trip, yeah.
That,
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it.
But that goes in, again, these women are falling into this false narrative. You could do this, you could do that. No, you can't. Everybody needs somebody.
I know, I agree. I mean, there are things women can do by themselves, but
yes,
I always
absolutely.
make the statement, I need my man.
Right.
I'm not one of those women who I can do it all by myself.
Right.
And I mean, a woman worth her weight and knows who she is, knows that she needs a man, and why would you want to do it all by yourself? But I do agree with that. Black women, some and some would say quite a few, have bought into the narrative of the feminist movement of now. They, and as I always say this, we're duped, as Shahrazad Ali says it. Frances Cress Welsing said it, and so all the greats have said it, that black women were duped into following white women because their problem was with their man, not treating them right, and so they said, "Hey, black woman, we already have problems with our men. We had the problem since the Middle Passage."
Right, but here you go again. You've got these new generations of young women who follow this bullshit narrative, talking about, I'm a strong, independent black woman, but you're on Section 8.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that does need to be defined.
Right.
I totally agree with that. And just for me, I think, again, I'd be lying to say that black women don't have issues, but to me, it's the way that they do it. I'm sure that Asian women got issues.
Of course they do.
But you don't see their men dragging them through the mud on the internet and, all out in the open and stuff.
But that's also because that's a cultural thing where they know their role in how they do it. Like Tiger Woods' mom. She made sure her Asian side of the family was taken care of. Now, Tiger Woods has got half brothers and sisters that are black. He didn't do a damn thing for them.
But Tiger Woods don't identify as a black man at all, to the point to where they left him off the 50th most influential whatever athletes ever.
Right. But again, I understand what you're saying there, but I'm talking about that culture of how the women know their role.
Right.
She's taking care of her family, making sure her stuff is situated. But
black women know that too. I agree. A lot of us have gotten away from that.
Yeah,
now,
we've gone away from it.
You probably don't. We don't remember because we weren't there. But black women, well, hell, if you go to New York, I remember when I went to New York, I spent some time in Manhattan, and I saw all these black women strolling around white babies, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then my friend was like, oh, they're nannies or they're maids. So it's like, but white people, not that they're the litmus test, but white people have no problem with black women taking care of their children. You know why?
Yes.
Because black women, even from slavery, have taken care of white children.
Yes.
And even throughout after Jim Crow and before civil rights, we have been, both of my grandmothers were domestics to where, matter of fact, my dad's mom was Jamie Lee Curtis's mammy or nanny or whatever you call it. So black women were, we set the example as far as taking care of children. Okay. Now, not overall, but we have gotten away from that. We can get back to that, but we need our men to back us up, to educate us, and to lead us.
Okay, but here's the problem. See, we know what we need to do. Here's the problem. You have a whole generation of young women who have bought into the bullshit, and they've raised a whole generation of men that ain't shit.
Well, imagine this, too. Imagine that your mom or your center of influence or your dad, who's probably asleep at the wheel, they haven't taught you anything. In addition to, you're sitting up watching a lot of TV, and if you're watching a lot of black television, what do you see about us?
Booty shaking, blah blah blah.
Images.
Like I said, I get disturbed when I see women dancing to music that denigrates them.
Yes,
I get disturbed, and I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, because we have just...
That's my jam!
Yeah, we bow down to our carnal desires.
Oh,
and
by the way, I know my Spider-Man suit, I'm a superhero. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we have just, as Elijah Muhammad says, and as you guys can tell, I study a lot of people. Elijah Muhammad says that we have lost our minds.
Right.
Black people have lost.
We have.
Because we did that, something like that. Ass shaking in public, that wasn't something black women did. Right. If we did, it was in the confines in our bedroom for our men. We did not do that. But as we got to the now movement and I'm going to just be free, and we started doing that kind of stuff.
You are so desperate to be free, you will go out there with a college degree. I know women that have college degrees that are out there shaking their ass, have both parents, mind you, and they're out there shaking their ass because they feel that I can't do this, or I don't want to work at Walmart, whatever. And back in our day, when I was in the military, I worked 2 additional jobs to pay my mortgage, pay my car note, whatever I had to do. Thus, I'm where I'm at today. But you've got some people, all easy money is not easy money, and you got women out here shaking their ass. Why would I want to deal with that?
Well, when you don't have knowledge of self, which is what the Loving the Skin I'm in, promotes, is having knowledge of self. When you don't have that, in addition to watching these negative influences, you think, oh, well, the Atlanta housewives,
that's real.
They got all these hair and these purses and cars, and they ain't doing nothing but fighting with each other all day.
And those chicks are getting $40,000 a season.
But they don't tell you that, though.
All these rappers, everything is leased.
But they're showing you these housewives spending $40,000 on lunch,
right? Which is not true.
So if you're not educated enough to say, okay, something's not right here, you think, hey, I want to live that lifestyle too. My dad always calls it the path of least resistance. You have a lot of people who want to take that path. They don't really want, as you said, work 2 jobs, do what you need to do to earn a decent living. They want it easy. So I'll go out there with a degree in a strip club and do some strange for the change.
Right, but which doesn't make sense. If you've got a degree, that has opened doors to where now you could compete on applications that say minimum requirement, bachelor's degree or associate.
Well, I have 2 degrees, and I'm telling you that is not as lucrative
No,
out there.
No, it's not lucrative. Yeah, no, it's not lucrative. What I'm saying is it opens a thing where it opens some doors where you could compete.
We're going to always tie this back. The problem with us, again, and I don't know how much time we got, so you tell me.
We've got 25 minutes.
The problem in the black community is we give, and which should just segue into our next segment. Okay. 97% of our income away. So we don't have the ability to create jobs and businesses and hire our own. And so, we are out there asking the white man for a job. So who is the white man going to hire first?
His cousin Ray
his people.
and cousin Luke.
Right.
Is the vice presidency open? Oh, sure, we'll put you in there.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you're supposed to do it. But if we continue to give 97% of our income away and then go beg somebody for a job, we're always going to say, well, not always, but then you'll be left with, I got a bachelor's, but let me go on and see if this strip club is hiring.
I would rather be a janitor than do something of low caliber than shake my ass for a few dollars.
But if we got $1.3 trillion in our community every year, that's a lot of money to create a lot of businesses and a lot of jobs, a lot of respectable, good jobs. I mean, we're some very talented people, very smart people. So it should really, I mean, if you want to be a janitor, great, but we should be creating businesses with positions that would utilize our talents and our gifts. Now,
we're talking about Tommy Sotomayor and getting back to him. And it's really sad because, like I said, as a woman, you're hearing that part of it coming from a woman's perspective. And, if I was in your situation, it would be offensive. But then Tommy does talk about these idiot young men out here dicking down these strippers and these people and putting themselves in positions to where Adrian Peterson, he brought that up. How are you out here spending $40,000 in a strip club for one night, and then when you go broke, Terrell Owens, we talked about that last week. Most of his major problems, he's got baby mamas.
Right. And, again, listen, I believe in
redemption. The caliber of women.
I believe in redemption. I don't think there's too many things you can do. There's some. But too many things you can do that's not worthy of forgiveness. Right. Okay? And I feel the same way about Mr. Sotomayor. I really do. But at the same time, if he is castigating black men, then he should use himself as an example and say, listen, brothers, I was once where you were. I did not pay child support. I served some jail time, but I have learned my lesson and I've turned my life around.
And he said that in some videos.
Has he really?
Yes, he has.
Okay, but
yes.
Now let me ask you this, and I'm glad that he did. Did he do it because he was forced?
No. He
it was an expose.
He always like a lot of things that he talked about. Like I said, again, do your research. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I'm not saying but he's not necessarily bad. You got to take the message. If I was a woman, I'd be offended too. Because a lot of stuff that he's saying, he's exposing you. He's exposing you.
Black bitches and whores.
He's exposing you wearing a hair hat, which is what it is.
But it's okay. You're in the military for 18,000 years, right?
Yes.
What did you ultimately do for me? You went to fight so I can have what? Freedom. Now, if a woman want to wear a weave on her goddamn head,
and that's absolutely
that's her right to do it,
that's
right? So where do we get off telling her she can't do that?
No, nobody has ever said you can't do it. What he's saying is, we don't prefer it. You're beautiful the way you are.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
But there's levels to this.
Like I said, it's ridiculous when women are going in Korean stores and robbing the place for hair when they could be owning the store.
I mean, I will not argue with you on that.
I mean, if it's that lucrative and you have an urge to steal for it.
How about saying, baby, you are beautiful the way you are. I prefer you in your natural state.
I say that all the time.
Your hair is comparable to nobody else on this earth. Matter of fact, if you flip through any of these high fashion magazines, they're appropriating your hairstyle. These white women right now walking around trying to figure out how to get their hair natural.
But don't.
Like yours.
But like he said, don't give us this narrative. White women do it too. We're not talking about. I'm talking about you.
I'm not saying white women do it too.
No. But I'm saying. The minute you say something, the first thing a black woman comes back at you with is, well, white women do it too. No, they don't. They do not put afro into their hair. They don't do it.
You darkened my light on purpose, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
Because you was like, you're getting too much shine.
Yeah, you get too much shine.
That's okay.
Like that.
You may not be able to see me, but you can hear me.
No, you can hear. No. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, and again, that is the problem. Like you said, oftentimes we in the black community do try to compare ourselves to white people. But what we need to realize is, anything that was made for the benefit of white people was never made for the benefit of black people. We can never, ever try to compare ourselves to white people. That's when we're always going to go wrong. Again, we have $1.3 trillion to say we don't need to compare ourselves or concern ourselves with what white people think or what white people are doing. End of story. So
when Tommy Sotomayor, like I said, if you go back and look at his earlier videos, he's coming from a perspective of coming from Georgia, having lived in a neighborhood where, he couldn't understand why his mom kept him in a bad neighborhood. His aunts were doing what they were doing. And he just basically was saying, I can identify what's going on. You know?
I don't listen to him, and I'll admit that. But does he ever talk about his black daddy and his black uncles while he's talking about his aunties and his mama?
And he does talk about him, and he said, they weren't shit, and, how their situation was, and, being young people, you don't know what's going on with your parents. But he said the environment that he came from, when he went through his thing, he was irresponsible and stuff like that. He was in the same situation a lot of people, but then he really realized, hey, look, if I want to better my situation, I can't be doing what everybody else is doing in this neighborhood.
So this is the problem that I have with a lot of the people in the woke, sir says stay woke, black community is we rarely get past the point of, well, you're a black bitch. You're no good nigga. You're a hair hat.
But
you're this,
listen how these people address each other.
So that's what I'm saying. So we don't even get past that.
Right.
We don't get past the name calling. We don't get past the point of developing solutions and saying, okay, we know that we have issues, and this is how we fix it. This is how we come to the point of not having these issues, because black people are, I'll always say this, some of the greatest, not some of, but the greatest people on the planet, bar none. You know, like Angela Yee, not Angela Yee, Angela, oh gosh, the girl that is always on MSNBC, black sister.
I know who you're talking about.
No, she says, you know, we built this joint for free.
Right.
And we have. So, we just need to get to the part of making solutions and get past the Tommy Sotomayor narrative.
Well, here's the thing, though. We are so screwed up. You had black women overwhelmingly supporting Hillary Clinton in an election. Then you have Jesse Jackson, who... Wait, let's talk about something that we both know. Your girl, Corrine Brown.
You leave our black queen alone. I'll stab you.
Yes, this is a lady who stole from a children's charity.
Allegedly.
No, she was convicted.
She was convicted, but they wasn't there.
Yeah.
They didn't see nothing.
She put it all on her chief of staff. But she built the courthouse in Jacksonville, Florida, and my boo... Amanda lives there, Afro Thunderlocks, and she knows the whole story.
She agrees with you, by the way.
Yes.
She's like, she's a crook.
The lady's a crook. Straight out. And she got Jesse Jackson. If you're going to bring a character witness, the last person you bring is Jesse Jackson.
You leave our black queen alone.
The last person you bring is Martin Luther King III. That is somebody you do not bring as a character reference. And then you get your little your congressional people who are toxic. And you say, look, you stole from a children's charity.
Okay, but
end of story.
Let me play devil's advocate here.
All right,
because I'm just joking.
You love Corrine. No, you love Corrine.
Listen, I live in Riverside, Tucky, California. I know nothing about Corrine Brown. I just only know what I've read
and what I've sent you.
All right, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Right, how old is she? About 70 something?
She's about 70-something years old. When will these baby boomers leave?
Okay, I agree with you on that. Okay, so she's 70-something. She was there during the civil rights movement and all of that.
I built this courthouse!
So you've been marching and, you've been shedding blood and tears and, just the whole gamut of civil rights.
So what?
Whatever. All right? So the most you've seen is black people can vote. We don't have to ride on the back of the bus.
Right.
You can even drink out of the white fountain now.
Right.
All right, so, those are the strides that you've seen.
Right.
But over time, you're like, well, that's all we've done. But you got people with big money saying, you know what, Corrine or Cheryl, got a lot of money for you here.
Right.
Just do my bidding.
Yeah, and here's a children's charity. Steal out of it. Children's charity.
Well, I'm not telling you to steal.
Wait. $1,000 in scholarships that had over $300,000 in it.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's throwing herself and her daughter parties.
Right, but I'm just playing. I'm not agreeing with this. I'm just playing devil's advocate. So
DK loves Corrine Brown. But go ahead.
But I'm saying you're the civil rights movement and all this, and you haven't seen that much. Black people are virtually, pretty much, still in the same situation we were before the civil rights movement. All right.
Absolutely.
So these people giving you all this money, and
and the Democrats are saying for us to compete.
What has the last thing you've heard Al Sharpton say about black people? Vocally.
I've got a TV show on MSNBC. Thank you very much.
Why? Because he's bought in.
He's bought in. That's right.
That's what they are. These older cats are doing that now. Right. They're like, plus,
Jesse Jackson's son. Him and the wife went to jail.
Right. These young Negroes ain't listening. Hell, these people
but you're not
all this money.
But you're not the leader. You can't. I can't relate to my grandfather in his struggle and what he did.
Well, and to your point that you made a couple of minutes ago, I'm not saying that these older people are not valuable still, but they will not let go of the reins and say, here, Donovan, it's your turn.
Take the football,
listen,
run
it
far.
was your turn 10 years ago,
Right.
but
Yeah.
It's your turn. Do it what you will, because you have a more of a handle on what's going on with this generation than I do. You know,
Right.
I'm like from the 50s.
And I know this is loving the skin of men, but let's not be political here. But why is it that what's her name, Brown? Down to Cheryl Brown.
Cheryl.
It seems like all these people that have last name Brown are very corrupt black women. But her, Denise Fleming, all these people hate my show. They hate me. But why? Because I expose them for the leaders that they are not.
Well, I think there's probably a couple more reasons.
Well,
you know, like
but
if you're
in
Denise
general.
Fleming and you're scrolling, you just happen to be scrolling by, loving the skin I'm in, and you see your mug on the back of the screen, angry black woman.
Right.
Yeah, she probably wants to shank you.
Yeah, and that's fine. But why am I saying? I mean, seriously, you've known me for 30 years. Would I do that if it wasn't true?
No, I don't know you to be malicious
Right,
and just wake up
like
on one and just who's gonna get it today?
Right. I don't do that. The thing is, what I'm saying is, for her to put herself up as a leader. Okay, let's just cut to the chase. She's been here 30 years, right? Radine Ayers. I've been here 30 years in the politics. I know everything. You've been losing for 30 years.
Well,
my point. It's like, go somewhere. You've been losing.
She is deemed the leader. Somebody is making her believe that.
No, exactly. But she's not.
Well, how's she able to reign for 30 years?
She hasn't reigned for 30 years.
How's she able to even somewhat be the queen or king?
Because,
I'm just saying, because I know she hasn't,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's okay to declare yourself a leader. I can say I'm a leader.
Right.
Okay? But I haven't lost for 30 years straight. Mm-hmm. So now, if I had lost for 30 years straight, and here comes a more progressive person, I'm going to pass the ball off to him and say, hey, Donovan, I don't like your show. I don't like anything about you. But guess what? For some reason, people are listening to you. You're getting it out there. You're destroying my candidates. You're using this social media, which I have no clue about because I was raised on Pong. That was high tech back in our parents' day. Pong was considered high tech. Do you ever get that Atari Pong? I have one.
I did, yeah.
But, when we were kids, you loved it. It was great. It's a little block. You're just happy. But
I thought you were going to say, like, badminton.
Yeah, they had that too. Remember? That's part of the options. But what I'm saying is, when you've got these people, you're 70 years old, go be a grandfather. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying you've done all you can do.
No shade to the elderly soldiers before us.
No, I appreciate everything they've done.
Yeah, it is. I honestly agree. It is time for y'all to
step back
and hand over the reins to people who are able to have more endurance and are more in tune with what's going on.
Because these people are not in tune. They just aren't. And
but you also got to remember that a lot of those people from the generation, they believe in getting along within the system. You know what I mean?
But that getting along within the system has shown that doesn't work either.
Well, we know that.
So you might as well storm the gates and see what happens.
Well, that's because that's not their belief system.
We're not worried about their belief system.
White people let us in.
No. And we've known us that are more progressive, that doesn't work.
Right.
Remember in the Obama, during the Occupy Wall Street, remember all over the country, Occupy Wall Street was happening, right? Mm-hmm. Hillary Clinton and Obama met in that hotel in Baltimore secretly, and they said, we're going to go with Obama. They put a black face as a potential candidate to represent. What did Occupy do? We all stopped and watched and waited. And we're still waiting.
And you know what's funny? Is because when that movement took place, I was a personal banker. Mm-hmm. And so everybody had to come in on that particular Saturday because that's when it was going down. Mm-hmm. Everybody was coming in. They were going to withdraw their money out of the bank and all this other stuff. So we were ready. Mm-hmm. Do you know that from 9 to 4, one person came in that bank. I'm
going to a credit union.
I'm going to the credit union, and this is corrupt. I mean, he came in making this big old grand interest, and I'm like, we don't care. I mean, take your, but it was one person.
Right.
One person.
Right. But what I'm saying is, we are, these people are so out of touch. I'll give you a good example. Better example. Remember when Hillary ran against Obama the first time? Mm-hmm. Al Lewis, a civil rights icon, the guy? Is that
John Lewis?
John Lewis. Oh, I'm for Hillary. Oh, Hillary. Oh. Whatever. Okay. I'm for Hillary.
Okay.
But when the young people got behind Obama, and it was evident that the establishment was going, he flip-flopped so quick.
They all did. They all. I mean, you heard Jesse Jackson on the hot mic when he says we need to cut this nigger's balls off.
Right, but
his words, not mine.
Right. But you see what I'm saying? The establishment, and then here's a progressive guy, and like I said, I'm disappointed with Obama a little bit because I feel he should have done a little bit more.
He should have.
But again, I did support him. I voted for him twice.
I did too.
I'm not going to hide behind that. I did. But the thing is, my conviction was straight. Here's a progressive guy. It was better than what we had.
I'm just going to keep it real with you. Okay, I voted for him primarily because he was a black man. Okay. I will not lie about that. Just like most of Trump supporters voted for him because he's a white man.
He's going to make America great again.
And we, as
back
black
to the
people,
60s.
know what that means.
Yes,
all right, we're getting rid of y'all.
Back to the 50s.
Black people, you Mexicans, you nuisances that are getting in the way of our progress. We're going to make America great again.
Yeah,
okay?
we're tired of taking care of your lazy asses.
When we can assault you, lynch you, and do anything we wanted to do to you and get away with it. Okay, So race card was dealt right there.
So too. I can understand the backlash with Tommy Sotomayor, but you really gotta really look past that and see what message he's doing. Because really, when I listen to him from a man's perspective, I'm looking at it. Okay, this guy did this. I can identify with that. Now, his verbiage and stuff is probably not the greatest verbiage.
No, it's not.
But again, to me, if it's such a problem, all women should be rising up against him. But notice the ratchets don't say anything.
Well, because probably, and I don't know, they're intimidated and probably not educated enough to combat him. Because one thing I don't like to do is just argue back and forth with people. Yes, you are. No, you're not. Yes, you are. I like to bring the facts.
Yeah, facts.
So anyway, your lunch was very good. I'm sorry that you didn't
I still got the apple,
any of it. Okay.
I still got my apple. She can't take that from me. So, but it's all about perspective and how you come at it. Because like I said, as a man, he's making me think if I had daughters or something. I mean, I look at things and I say now, looking at it, why are we doing that? Why, sister, you got older women competing with younger women. Stop doing that.
Right, the women are supposed to teach the young
yes.
women. Supposed to mentor and
I had never thought about that before.
Yeah.
So he brings some good points to it.
But I think he'd have an amazing point if he would speak from more of a factual point of view.
But that's not his show.
And he toned
right.
down.
But that's not his show.
So then what's the point? You're just promoting propaganda.
That's why we need shows like these that are going to promote the opposite.
And that's what I say. Propaganda works on ignorant people.
Right. But here's the funny thing. We could be as positive as we are, and nobody will watch our show. But if we're controversial like his show, me and Pastor Don were talking about that, numbers are like huge.
Right.
But when you're positive and saying, oh, yes, the world is going to be great. I mean, seriously, people are not.
So if I was before we opened the show, I was standing on the table twerking.
Yes, people will watch. People will tune in. If this screen had, Rump Shaker and all that other stuff going, I mean, people would just tune in out of the blue. But if we put in Malcolm X and anything positive, that doesn't get numbers.
Well, my dad always says, as it says in the Bible, my people were destroyed for a lack of knowledge and their rejection of truth.
Right. So
that's just the world we live in. People reject truth. It's easier to inculcate somebody's, talking about twerking and, the more trivial stuff that's not going to matter to anybody. It's easier. But when it comes to ingesting information that's pertinent to survival even, people are just like, that's boring.
Right.
But Power was a good show, though.
Oh, I don't follow the show. I don't watch Empire. I don't watch Power because it's not my thing. I'm not into that stuff. I'm not into escapism because what it is, I mean, Dee talks about this. People are out of work. People can't find it, especially our people.
Right.
So the best way to deal with these people is distract them. And that's what's happening in our politics and what's going on. Here in Moreno Valley, Ito Benvizi, he lays low and then he wants to be a distraction. By the time you figure out what's going on, it's way too late for you to do anything about it. And this is called escapism. We will take money and go to a movie or, make sure we got to see Power and we'll do all these other things. And we think, yeah, that's me. How many episodes of Power and Empire and robbing a bank? I mean, come on. And it's all negative. And we're like, yeah. And it's making us so desensitized that when you shoot somebody in this show, It doesn't even faze people.
And I was watching it up until the last episode, and me and my daughter made a conscious decision not to watch it anymore because it was very dark. Like I said, it was just murder, just darkness. And I said, I can't do this.
And people act like it's just normal.
Yeah, and it's not. And I don't like to watch that kind of stuff because I don't like feeling. It makes me. It's an energy.
And then in those shows, like I said, I don't watch it. I might hear clips or people talk about it. The women that are supposed to be quote successful,
right?
They're whores. They're screwing this guy. They're screwing that guy.
We own 3%.
No, I understand that.
Right,
but what I'm saying is, when you're seeing these images, why aren't you turning off the TV?
Because it's entertainment. And Spike Lee said this about Tyler Perry, but I don't only say this is true for just Tyler Perry, but for a lot of these black television shows or whoever, it's malt liquor for black people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, it's an escapism.
You're sitting at home, you ain't got no job.
Right.
You're
with nonsense.
Yeah. You like the soundtrack. Oh, 50 Cent is in it. Oh, this person's in it.
Right.
The housewives, all those women are enhanced, big butts, and the weave. They're weaved. I mean, they're putting a narrative forth that isn't true in reality. And like your dad said, when you are mentally challenged or you don't have enough education, you think that shit is real, and it's not.
Yep. And I mean, and on my timeline, you probably see it on yours too, and on Facebook or social media, people talking about power like this is a real show. Oh, this person that, and that person this, and that, I'm like. But
then when you tell them, are you aware that HUD is now cutting $9 billion or $4 billion of its budget?
Those type of people will find out when they get a notice.
Right.
But I was gonna do now?
No. But like if you're in a conversation, Taco Tuesday last night or whatever, and you're talking about, well, are you aware that they're going to be doing this? Okay, here's the warning.
Right. They're not listening.
And they don't even want to talk about it.
That's not the information that people who watch that kind of stuff they wouldn't even know where to find that information.
Okay. And here's another thing. If you're in Section 8, I'm not saying you can't have a TV or whatever. Why aren't they mandating these people to go out and look for work, or or you're on your computers or whatever and do what you got to do?
Well, that's where the slips and the cracks are.
And you're there for 4 or 5 years. It shouldn't take you 4 or 5 years to get out of the hood when you have options out there.
And especially, and that's just true for black people, but everybody. There's education programs. Free
daycare while you're going to school.
You get upward,
and we put that up on our show, and we put that up on our pages. I mean, I'm doing everything I possibly can to inform people of what's going on, because I got mine. I want you to get yours.
Right.
But when you willingly sit there and do that, oh yeah, he's naked. But what has Denise Fleming done for you? Please articulate one thing Denise Fleming has done for you in the community in 20 years she's lived here.
Well, propaganda.
Exactly.
Works on the ignorant.
Exactly.
Because when I have a leader or somebody I'm going to potentially vote for, I want to know what have you done and what are you going to really do for me.
Right.
I don't need lip service.
Right. And that's all you're getting from these type of people. And what I'm trying to tell these elders who've led us into a situation that we're in this city, sit the fuck down and let us get real leaders.
And also, I know we got a couple minutes here. Those are the type of people who will shun our conversation and the things that we talk about because they don't want to offend their white base or white people, because they've also bought into the narrative that if I'm speaking pro-black, then I'm anti-white. I need to be all-inclusive. It's of the human race, and the people will be people. No, damn it.
No.
We need to focus on black people. We're the only race of people who want to include everybody.
Yeah, no.
When you bring a white woman, not you, but somebody else bring a white woman home to dinner, oh, hey, Sally. I'm not saying we should be mean. But you take your black ass over to Sally's house.
Oh, yeah. No, that
you might not even get in the door.
In the door, right. You're waiting in the car.
Or are you the Uber driver?
That's wrong. You are wrong. But, Loving the Skin I'm In, it's for women of color. I don't care if you're white. You want to listen to the show because this will help you educate and get an insight on how we feel about different things. Now, unfortunately, the show predominantly when you're black, you can't stand out. You're a black person, you just stand out.
We're going to talk about our stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our stuff. And again, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it again. If you don't like what you hear here, there's other options on YouTube. You could change.
Lots of options.
So that's what I would say. But as we go into the second hour, we're going to go in, and Dee has something that she really, really, really wants to shank.
Yeah.
And That was a really good topic. I really like that. And our numbers are really good. And please check out the great Tommy Sotomayor.
Or not.
And really get the facts and see if you agree with them or not. I mean,
That's right. That's fair.
you know, if you agree with them or not, hey, it is what it is. So we'll be back right after this. I'm Donovan Sadiq and DK, and he is killing it.
Don't freestyle much, but I write them like such. Amongst the fiends controlled by the screens, what does it all mean? All this shit I'm seeing. Human beings screaming vocal javelins.